Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to another episode of the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Now today I wanted to talk to you all about a company called AirFox. Now AirFox is on a mission to make mobile internet more affordable for users in emerging markets. Now their free AirFox browser actually replaces ads you traditionally see while surfing the web with some of its own network. And as users browse the internet, they're paid for each ad impression in AirTokens, which is a new cryptocurrency. These AirTokens are then redeemed for additional mobile data on a user's prepaid plan via any of the 500 wireless carriers available. Now, taking this revolutionary model one step further, AirFox is currently planning an ICO to raise $15 million for the development of a peer-to-peer microloans program. And something that we criminally neglect over here in the West is that many users in the developing world do not have access to credit or even banking. So what AirFox is doing is analysing tens of thousands of data points on its users to assign them a unique credit score. And users can also then apply for a microloan of up to $50 in AirTokens via the AirFox browser app. And also anyone with these AirTokens can lend to other users with the benefit of receiving a small amount of interest in return. I think this is a really interesting tale, especially because, like I said, it's focused on areas of the world that do not have banking and do not have credit. So it's solving a real problem and have a dramatic effect on people's lives. So I think it's a really interesting tale, and I hope you find this episode as interesting as I did. So buckle up and hold on tight, as it's time to beam your ears all the way to Boston so we can speak with the co-founder and CEO of AirFox, Victor Santos. So a massive warm welcome to the show. I believe you're both an ex-Googler and graduate of the Techstars Academy, but can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Hey Neil, how's it going?
Good.
Glad to be here. I'm the co-founder and CEO of AirFox, and we're providing more affordable mobile access to low-income subscribers in emerging markets.
Now, I recently read how AirFox is on a mission to make mobile internet more affordable for users in emerging markets, and I think this is an area that seldom gets talked about. So can you tell me what AirFox is, what problems it tackles, and what makes it unique from everything else out there?
Yeah, sure. So, in a lot of countries outside of developing nations like Europe and the United States, the poorer you are, the more you have to pay for access. In fact, billions of people around the world are unbanked or lack access to the mobile internet. So it's what we're trying to do is fix that problem. To give you an example, I'm originally from Brazil, and to take Brazil as an example of the perfect scenario of an emerging market, 40% of the population is unbanked. And for those who do have bank accounts and have a wireless carrier, they're paying roughly between 100 to 300% APR and about 16% of their income in mobile service. So these numbers are staggering, especially if you live in Europe or in the United States. And the way we do that is what AirFox is trying to do is provide a way for these users not only to get online, but to provide them financial services through the carrier. So a user may not have a bank account, but they have an account with their wireless carrier. And if you're familiar with services like M-Pesa in Kenya that are very successful, the user can use airtime and data with their local carrier, not just for internet, but to buy groceries, utilities, and a lot of different services that are already built out within this ecosystem.
So where did the inspiration for AirFox come from? Was it your time in Brazil there growing up, or is it just travel in general and having that wider perspective of the world?
Yeah, I grew up in Brazil and saw firsthand the problems that the market faced. And after going to school here in the US and working a little bit at Google, I realized that I wanted to do something to help the masses and figure out a way to bring affordability to people that can't afford to get online or can't afford to get financial services. So there was definitely first an intrinsic motivation to doing this. And then I think my time at Google really opened my eyes to how to build products at scale and using, for example, such a simple thing that advertising to power search. Why can't we use advertising to power the view of the smartphone, which is the internet, and also the currency in these countries. And that was how it all began.
I think that very few people, particularly in the West, forget that in the developing world, most people are unbanked. So essentially what you're doing here is making mobile data function as a currency where users can cash out their prepaid balance, use that balance to pay for utilities and transfer money to family and friends, like you said there. I mean, but was that always your intention right from the beginning, or has that concept evolved over time?
Yeah, the concept definitely evolved over time. The first version of our product was users could opt into advertising and get megabytes that could be used purely just for data. But one of the things that we saw is that a lot of users, we would be able to create some value for the users through the advertising, but we realized that a lot of the users also didn't have access to capital or access to other types of services. So even though I may see a product that I like, I can't really afford to buy that product. And that product could be utilities, could be groceries, could be a local small business, it could be a consumer packaged good. We then decided to expand the platform to not just, hey, I can convert this into megabytes, but I can convert this to real money with my wireless carriers that can be converted into other types of services. And then the second iteration of that with the AirTokens is that we're taking tens of thousands of data points on the smartphone and selling that to advertisers already. We realized, okay, if affordability and capital is a big issue, why don't we take the same 10,000 data points and score the users and provide lending to these users, microfinancing. By being able to track all the smartphone data, we can actually assess a user and their risk profile. And that was kind of the aha moment and how we figured out that we can use the same data and the same mechanism that we already sell to advertisers to also create other products on top of that.
So your users essentially earn more mobile data by browsing the internet and viewing ads. But do you have any use cases or examples of where this model is being embraced and being used on a regular basis, and also the difference that it can actually make to people's lives?
Sure, yeah. So, we started in the United States. It was a more controlled market, much smaller market, focusing on low-income subscribers that are on Lifeline. Lifeline is a government subsidy program in the U.S. for free phones. So the government pays for your phone and you can use it for free. We've served 2 million customers across the US today. And it's a very simple model. The users browse the internet as they normally would. And then as they're browsing, the ads that they see on the internet, instead of just being a data burden for them, they're not getting anything in any utility from those ads. They're actually earning the AirTokens that then can be converted with their local carrier. And, a user in the US where we have this live can earn between $3 to $10 a month. That seems insignificant, but when you put that into emerging market terms and the potential to, reduce the consumption of data by using our browser and also increase the amount of money that you earn, it's quite significant. Eventually, the idea is, the bigger vision, like I said, it's the lending, being able to actually take the 10,000 data points and assess the user's credibility to give them about $5 to $30 of loans that they could then pay back, over a period of 3 to 4 months.
Now, AirFox recently raised $6.5 million in a token presale. I mean, can you tell me more about that experience and what it ultimately will mean for AirFox?
Yeah, we're still in the process about to finalize our initial coin offering by the end of next week. Yeah. Probably going to be hitting the hard cap. The $6.5 million that we raised was a quite strenuous process, running around the world across Asia and US and doing roadshow to investors, hedge funds. And it's very exciting to use this as our AirToken, selling our AirToken to the public as a way to crowdfund our way into our mission, because it ultimately means that everyone that bought a token, could be as little as $1, is really bought into this mission and helping us increase accessibility to emerging market users. Instead of the profits of the company, if we are successful, going back to venture capitalists and other traditional investors, which we still do have in our cap table, but it allows us to have a broader access of people that believe in this, and it's a crowdfunding mechanism. And I think these token sales are going to be a lot more common for venture-backed startups in the future.
Now, you did mention there the strenuous process that you've had to go through. So I've got to ask, how's that negative press and China's move to ban initial coin offerings affected you guys?
Yeah, it definitely didn't affect as much for a variety of reasons. There's a lot of I'll get to that in a second. There are a lot of ICOs that raise 80% of their money from China. That wasn't really our case. We tried to break into China for a long time and we really couldn't. But funny story, that the week before when our pre-sale was going on, the week before they closed down China, we had a roadshow plan to go to China, and we finally had cracked China and had investors there with a few $1 million that were interested in investing. And the day that we're supposed to go there, they announced that, and we actually ended up not going to China. so that's it did affect us, but it wasn't significant because to that point it took us a while to break into China, and then by that point, it was too late to even get into China given the regulation.
So what are the next major milestones in partnership that you're going to be trying to achieve over the next 12 to 18 months?
Yeah, the first, as soon as we close the ICO, we're hiring very seasoned executives and engineers to build out our micro-lending solution. And our micro-lending solution is we think that's going to be the bigger vision. Yeah. It's going to be getting users to opt in and letting us credit assess them, and anyone in the blockchain that has an AirToken can microfinance users in Brazil, for example, no matter where you are in the world. So it's a lending club model. We want to get a first version of that up and running by Q1 of 2018, and also concurrently growing the advertising browser base of users in Brazil. So we're going to be acquiring new users. And that's, hope to have 100,000 users by, end of Q1, and hopefully have the alpha version of the micro-lending product.
So if anyone listening is interested in buying the AirTokens, join the ICO, what should they do?
The ICO is October 5th, so next Thursday. And, it's very simple. You can go to airtoken.com and you will see instructions in how to proceed. Anyone can invest as low as they want, as long as they go through the registration process. And if you end up not being able to participate on the public ICO because there's no space left, they'll be able to purchase on different exchanges. So Kraken, Bittrex are different exchanges where you could be able to buy once AirToken is listed.
And if anyone listening actually visits airfox.com and wants to contact a member of your team if they have any questions, is there contact details on there as well?
Yes. You can reach us at corporate at airfox.io, not .com, but .io, and airtoken.com. So airfox.io is the main website, and airtoken.com is the cryptocurrency website and the ICO website.
What would you say your biggest challenges have been so far?
The biggest challenges, I would say, is it's a challenge and an opportunity. It's the sheer size of this market. You're talking about billions and billions of people, and that's a big opportunity, but you're also talking about billions of people that are in the lower socioeconomic classes that are often not as educated or tech savvy as someone who's using Uber, right, on their phone. And I think educating the customer and getting the customer to truly understand the value and getting even access, awareness from a marketing point of view to these users so they can now download the app. I think that's the hardest challenge, and will continue to be the hardest challenge as we move forward, is getting users to download the app and try it. We know that once they try the app, they'll see the value, but that first initial step of education and awareness tends to be a big hurdle.
Well, a big thank you for taking the time to come and speak to us today, especially because you are preparing for this ICO, so I know how manic things must be right now. So I wish you the best of luck with the ICO. Hopefully you can come back and speak to us in the new year as well and let us know how that's gone. But more than anything, just a big thank you for coming on and sharing your story today.
Thank you, Alani. I appreciate having me, and looking forward to coming back and talking again.
Like I said at the beginning of the show there, I think that we often forget that in the developing world, most people are completely unbanked. So mobile data functions as a currency, where users can cash out their prepaid balance and use that balance to pay their utilities or even transfer money to their family and friends. So by enabling these users to earn more mobile data by simply browsing the internet and viewing ads, AirFox is essentially granting them access to more capital, and that gives them more economic mobility. But as always, let me know your thoughts around this concept, air tokens, and indeed crypto ICOs by tweeting me at Neil C. Hughes. And also don't forget you can email me at techblogwriter@outlook.com. I reply to every message and every tweet, so keep them coming in. But I'm out of touch and you're out of time, so I thank you for listening to today's show, my friends. And if you need to contact me, you know where to find me by now. But until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.